My name is Tony, and today I'll show you how to make any of these two wallets. You're gonna need some 4-5 ounces of vegetable tan leather, some snap buttons, and a little bit of leather glue. And of course, the patterns. As soon as you download the patterns, you will note every single stitching hole is clearly marked on the pattern, so you can go ahead, cut the leather, pre-punch the stitching holes, and get to work right away putting any of these together. Having said that, today I'll show you how you can assemble any of these two wallets without pre-punching the holes. But like I said earlier, you will need a little bit of glue. Let me show you what I mean in great detail. And stay with me, because after we put this together with no pre-punch holes, we're gonna put this one together with the holes made in advance, the old-fashioned diesel punk row way. And then you can decide which one you like best. So I'm just going to print the paper patterns and ignore the stitching holes. Just cut the paper pieces out and use some paper masking tape to attach them to the leather. And then simply cut on the black lines. And here is every other piece we need. Note, I didn't punch any of the stitching holes, but I did punch the holes for the snap buttons. Even though this particular leather will age beautifully on its own and eventually turn into this very nice, very rich caramel color, like this pin cushion I've made maybe 5 or 6 years back. I will, however, dye every single piece I need in brown, and here is how I'm gonna do it. Right after the dye is dry, you can apply a little bit of leather balm on the outside, and that will give it a very nice shine and seal it against water, make it waterproof, sort of. This is just a piece of canvas. It's very good for rubbing all that goodness inside the leather. Next thing you can do is apply a little bit of burnishing gum on the exposed edges. For this particular piece, it's going to be this curved line at the back here. And you can use the same piece of cloth to burnish the edge. Now have a look between the two pieces and tell me if you can see the difference. So after you have all the pieces dyed and ready to assemble, we're going to continue with these two pieces right here. And we will start by attaching the snap buttons. These two here are for the bottom, and these two here are for the top. We're going to start with the bottom. You're also going to need 4 sets of heads to set a single snap button. These two are for the bottom. We're going to mount this here to our hand press. We're going to need to screw the top head in. This is the first piece I'm going to place right there. Then the leather, and then the top. Make sure you center this properly and you press. Always very, very easy. This will stay there forever. Let's do the other one. So the first half of this is done. We're going to need to change both these heads. This is for the bottom and this is for the top. And the secret here, if you don't want to mess them up, is to grab this guy here, okay? And you're going to want to insert it in there till you hear a snap. There you go. Now you can screw it in. You're going to place the last part of the snap button inside there. And this is going to be on the outside. This is the outside. And again, be very careful. This goes down precisely down the center. What we're going to do next is going to snap this in place, just like that. And then we're going to fold this over towards the back, just like that. In order to make my life easy, I'm going to also use a little bit of Leathercraft cement glue, okay? Just around the edges like that. And we're going to be using this glue all throughout the build. This will hold everything in place while we stitch the holes. You can grab a few of these paper clips to hold everything in place. Just make sure it's all centered properly. Then you can unsnap these buttons. And I even have this little clamp tool. Make sure everything gets sticky. If you use a clamping tool like this, make sure you have leather stuck on the inside, so you won't leave marks on the leather with the steel bit. I'm going to let this dry and then I'm going to do all the stitching holes around. I'm going to use this compass here, spacing maybe 2.53 millimeters, and mark the stitching hole on the back here. Next, I'm going to put a little plastic board underneath here, and I'm going to start punching my stitching holes. And once we're done, we're going to do these U-shaped stitching right here on the inside pocket. You can go do a few taps. Flatten that stitch line, and we can move on to attaching the next two bits, which are these little flaps here. Let's apply glue on this edge and on this one here. Now it's very important how you attach these, and this is how you do it. This little corner here should be facing that way, and this should be going exactly there, just like that. I'm going to use this metal clips once again to hold everything in place. And then, of course, the other one, which is not the same, but it's symmetrical. Just like that. Make sure they align at the top here. There you go. Just like that. I'm going to leave these about 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'm going to use this to tighten everything together. Once I'm happy these are somewhat glued together, we're gonna again mark the stitching line, punch the stitching holes and finish the stitching here, and of course on the other side as well. And of course after you finish the stitch, you can even out the edges, bevel the edges. Use a little bit of dye here, burnishing gum, and that cloth to make it all look nice and shiny. Once you're happy with the result, we can move on to the other side, and then we're going to continue with the rest of the wallet. So this next part will take a little bit of positioning, okay? Start by applying a little bit of glue at the bottom of this piece here, just like we did before. Next, place the top and make sure it aligns correctly here. You can even use the paper clips to hold everything in place, just like that. And next, we're going to place these on top of this carefully so these two edges match. Okay? Again, you can use the paper clips, just like that. Then move this to only hold these two pieces here, just like that. Okay? Just like that. Good. Now, we don't actually need this piece, so we're going to take it away. All this exercise was in order for us to position this second piece onto the first. And now, here, where we applied glue earlier, we're going to need to do a stitching hole from here all the way to here. So after you finish this stitch here, go ahead, apply a little bit of glue along the edges of the top piece and then position it on top here carefully. Again, I'm going to use the paper clips to hold everything precisely in place, just like that. And I'm going to give it a couple of minutes to set, and then we're going to continue. Next, you will need to find the exact middle of this piece. And mark a stitching line right down the middle right here. Go ahead and punch the stitching holes. And do this middle stitching line right here. Okay, we can now attach this to the outside, but not before you remember to set the first half of the snap button here. So I'm simply going to apply glue on the edge like we've done so far. And then I'm going to place this on the main piece on top of the snap button here. Remember to make good use of your paper clips. Just like that. Let it set for a little bit. Don't worry about the edges not being too pretty because we're gonna take care of these a bit later. And while the glue here sets a bit more, we can move on to the next part that needs to be set on the other half. And we're gonna start by folding these so it matches the shape of the wallet, just like that. It has to complete this curve here. And while we're at it, why don't we just add our logo right there. Next step is to apply glue only on these edges here. And after that, attach it to the main body like so. Right after you're confident this glue stuck to the two edges here, you can go ahead and apply some on the last edge here. But don't forget, we have this little tab to insert there as well. So maybe when you apply the glue, don't apply in the middle here, just enough so we can insert this a bit later. Oh, and don't forget, there is still half a snap button here to add. Once again, when you are confident all the glue is set, you can go ahead and finish these edges. I mean, they're pretty rugged as they are, so we're going to start by sanding them to an even edge, okay? Now, of course, you can use some sandpaper, but ever since I got this little mini rotor tool, whatever you want to call it, from Hand Boost, I've been using it and I'm very, very happy with it. Link down in the description if you want to take a look. I'm going to go on the lowest speed here and I'm going to go ahead and sand all these down till they're all nice and even. Look how easy that is. Once you're more or less happy with how smooth the edges are, you can bevel the edges a little bit as well. And then if need, sand a little bit more till you're happy. Once you're happy with the edges, use the same compass and mark one single stitching line around the entire wallet. And now we can go ahead and punch the stitching holes as well. This is at the same distance from the edge as this one if you keep this perfectly perpendicular. And of course, once you've punched all the holes around the edges, go ahead one last stitch. Remember, when you get to this point here, it's best to attach the little tab that will keep everything closed. Insert it into the little slot we left unglued. All right. And then you're gonna punch the stitching holes. And when you stitch, you're gonna stitch through the tab as well. So right after you finish the entire stitch, don't forget to finish the edges. More sandpaper if you need to, then maybe apply a coat of dye and then some burnishing gum and make it all nice and shiny. And as soon as you finish all the edges, our first wallet is ready. It's got 4 credit card slots here. It's got a secure compartment here. You can put stuff in it. It's got another cash compartment here. There's another one here. Sadly, not enough cash to put everywhere, but it's a large wallet. It will fit everything you need during the day. Okay, and it was done with 0 stitching holes pre-made. And now, just like I promised at the beginning of the video, we're gonna put this one together, but this time we're gonna have all the holes pre-punched. And you're not gonna need any leather glue. The build order is identical, but no inside flap and no snap buttons. Cue the build montage. Wow, that looked so much easier because it is. Having the holes pre-punched really makes the whole build easier. And here we are, both wallets finished but with different build methods. Here are some close-up shots. Have a look and please let me know in the comments which one you like better. Personally, if I were to pick for myself, I would probably go for this one because I don't really carry cash around, but I would probably go with a glue method and stitch the holes after I glue all the pieces together. But if I were to carry cash around and maybe need a place to put my phone, definitely I would go for the larger one. Either way, I think they're both very easy, very fun projects, and I think you should make one for you and maybe one to sell, so then you will have cash to put inside the one you kept for yourself. I'm sure these are going to be very easy to sell because everybody needs a wallet. Thank you so much for watching, and if you did watch this long, do me a favor, click that like button, maybe subscribe if you aren't already, and if you click the bell notification, next time we release something like this, you're gonna be the first one to know. I'm out. Peace.